Okay, we are Skam Weekly, so we are talking about the Norwegian TV show Skam, and we are happy to announce we have a, what would I say, fan?
I would call myself like maybe a dedicated enthusiast.
Okay, yeah. And we are going to be asking her a few questions on her interest in the show and why she likes it, so.
Yeah, well, I think first of all, it's really interesting to be part of this teenage world that we were once in, but kind of are not part of any longer. But it's this really interesting period of your life where you're kind of insecure, you want to belong to a group, but at the same time, I think it's also a nice show, not just because of the universe and the teenage things, but also because of all the communities surrounding it. So the fan communities, which I'm a little bit a part of, and yeah, just the general the fact that the producer is actually a member of some of these fan groups on Facebook, which creates like this kind of feedback thing, which is really interesting, I think.
Because a big part of the fan culture takes place on Facebook, right? So
yeah.
How big is that in the overall fan activities?
I think a lot of the activities take place on Facebook, and it's interesting to look into the people who post things in the for example the Kosegruppe Deco group here in Denmark, because it's ranging from like high school teachers to 12-year-old girls to aunties to it's just so many different people who are being fascinated by the show, and I think that actually wasn't the original idea of the producer, because she wanted to make a show that was for young people, and suddenly their parents started watching it as well. And I think I read an interview with Julie Andim, the producer or instructor, and she was like, but that wasn't really the intention behind it. Like, I don't think she's angry at the people, but she still, that wasn't the original intention. So it kind of, the universe had just expanded to a level that she hadn't even predicted herself. But I'm only like active, or I'm observing the Facebook community. I'm not aware of any other places.
So do you know of any fan fiction or any things that are being produced? Because we were just looking through the Facebook group, and there was one girl who was asking for a fan to come to an event where the fan could bring whatever Skam-related like product the fan had.
Yeah, well, I think I've been to a kind of convention, which is like you describe here, where you meet up. This was an event where we watched the whole season 3 together, because it was the final episode of season 3 airing that night. So we met up, and some people were really dressed up, like people with scarves looking like Sana, and people with all kinds of crazy merch on. But
And were you dressed up?
I was wearing a mask. And it was so fun to see all the different. There were really also some older people, like some 40, 50-year-old women who were really enjoying and they could quote so many scenes, which many of the other of us didn't.
Because, we saw a 30-plus Facebook fan group just from Denmark as well, which is fun to see because there's no adults in the show. It's only teenagers. Yeah. So what do you think is the broad appeal of a teenage show like that?
I think it has to do with this kind of nostalgic lust to go back to that period in your life, because we've all been there and we've all experienced insecurity. Well, maybe not in the specific ways that are portrayed in Skam, like maybe it's not about sexuality, but I mean the love and the friendship and the family relationships, that's just so universal things that apply to all ages and types of people. And also I think the fact that it's so realistic, like you can really, maybe you can't say I'm a Nora or I'm an Eva, but you can probably say that, well, I have had some some characteristics within me remind me of this, or I was in a dilemma similar to that, or so it's maybe not an exact kind of mirroring, but I still think there's some kind of identification going on there. So I think that has something to do with the broad appeal.
And we were just before talking about how Ulrike Falk, the girl who plays Vilde, she posted on her Instagram a screenshot of someone who had edited a photo that she had put up to make the caption say that she was going to be the main character of season 4. So how is the interaction between the fans and both the actors of the show, but also the producers?
Well, I think Ulrike Falk is a really good example because she's really, really active on Instagram. I'm following her there as well, and she's. I remember this episode you're talking about where people were suddenly thinking that Vilde would be the main person. I think that that you can follow both the actor Ulrike Falk, but you can also follow like the characters. So you can actually go in and follow Vilde as well. So it gives this kind of dual relationship where you get updates from the Skam universe on like a real-time level, but at the same time you also get the kind of backstage in a way where the actors are posting their things from their own like daily lives. And I don't know about actually the producers and structures and stuff. I know that Julie Andlim is a member of the Facebook group, but I don't think she has actively interacted. But I know that, for example, at the convention I was at, they posted at the end of the convention, they made like a group photo of all of us, and they posted and they tagged the Julie Andlim in the post in the Kursegruppe, and they were like, "Oh, we love this series and we hope you'll watch this." And my friend and I were really doubting if Julie Andlim was going to watch this, but she was really convinced, this girl, that of course she would see it. And I mean, it's a community of, I don't know, maybe now I'm not sure, maybe 20,000 are part of the Kursegruppe. I'm not sure, but it's still kind of it's not a big community, but still it's not a small community. So I mean, it could be possible that she's actually following some of the activities. In the last episode in season 3, some were mentioning that she actually made this kind of subtle reference to the Danish fans, because there was a Christmas tree with a Christmas heart hanging on it that said "Kærlighed" in Danish, not in Norwegian. So many people, at least at that convention, were really hyped about it and were really like, "Oh, look, she's watching us and she's part of what we're doing," and she's really...
Because we were talking about in the 3rd season how Evan and Isak, they go to this hotel, and then there's a Danish receptionist as well. And we were discussing whether that was kind of a wink at the Danish viewers, or...
I talked to a person at the convention, and she was like, "This is the clearest example of Julie Andlim actually watching us and wanting to please us, or like show that she really cares about the Danish Skam fans." And my friend and I were really like, is that true, or is that just something she's telling herself to convince herself that this is a really nice community and we are part of Skam? But I'm not sure what the true story is behind it. But I guess that she knows Julie Andlim, that there are people.
Yeah, we read that 28% of the viewers are from Denmark, so that's a large part.
Yeah,
and the Danish Kursegruppe is just up to 39,000 members.
Because I think when I became a member, I think maybe it was a community of 12,000 or something. I don't know. So it's really it's been growing.
Yeah.
And also after the season 3 has stopped airing, I think that the hype has just continued, which is kind of interesting because nothing is going on in the actual production. So the things going on now are only like user generated stuff. So
I haven't like paid attention. So in between seasons, are there updates on their website, like text messages or any screenshots? Do we know?
Yeah, there are.
Okay.
There are both like Instagram posts and messages, Facebook messages, group chats, and small clips from the episode.
So you still are a little bit updated even in between seasons.
And that's definitely a thing that's keeping the universe at such a real time and such a cool thing.
Yeah, it's different.
Is that?
So we feel like a popular thing that the fans do is speculate who they will focus on next season. Do you have any ideas on that?
I have speculated myself as well, but I think I've reached to a point where I know that Julia will surprise us. So I'm not sure about it. In a way, I have some favorites that I want to see, but I wouldn't mind following all of them.
Yeah. So I think that answers all of our questions. Thank you for being with us today.
You're welcome.
And follow up every week on our blog as we will have new posts. Thank you.